my nearsightedness is too bad. My eyeball is too long, so they can't get a strong enough lens in the cataract surgery to correct it like they thought.
So you're
to
not having
fully correct it.
surgery?
No, I am.
Oh.
They'll correct the
This is-
cataract. So
Hello, YouTube. You get to hear about Rich's cataract surgery.
Cataract
talk.
So they
Cataract chat.
they'll be able to still put in the toric and deal with most of the astigmatism, but they'll end up doing the monovision so that like the left eye is better for short for close.
I don't like that. You gotta go like this when you want to like read.
But realistically, my right eye's been doing all the work anyway for a number of years. So it said, your brain will adjust and it'll be good.
Your brain will adjust.
I don't know. My brain hasn't adjusted to a lot of things.
Right?
It still hasn't adjusted to life in 2024. But.
Facts. 3, 2, 1. Hello, Facebook.
Hello.
Ahoy.
Ahoy indeed.
We probably should be on a ship considering.
How about this ambient sound we've got?
Is it relaxing?
We're putting this background noise in there. The whole ASMR, joking that we do. I need to make some noise or something. You're scratching my coffee cup.
Speaking of noise, apologies if the sound quality isn't what it usually is. We're known for professionalism around here with our.
We are the home of professional podcasting, where some people forget their laptop.
We're not using. That was in sync.
Yeah, how about that?
Bye.
Coming from a Backstreet Girl.
That's true. Listen. They're reuniting NSYNC, not Backstreet Boys. Backstreet Boys never really drifted apart. So if you're into that sort of thing. So anyway, sorry, we're not using the mics that we usually use. So apologies if the audio.
No, I'm thinking of New Kids on the Block because I just saw.
They never Donnie
Wahlberg on the Brotherly Love podcast with the Lawrence brothers.
Yeah.
All of a sudden, apparently, I saw one, and now I get it every single time I open my phone.
Are you upset about that?
Not really, because it's actually really good.
Watch it now before they ban TikTok.
It's one of those things that I was like,
hello.
I'm catching it on YouTube, but I'm seeing it. I'm like, no, I'm not doing this. But even now, as old dudes, especially Joey, all three of them, they're just stinking adorable. Right?
I know.
They're just, you look at them and like, they're just nice little brothers.
The youngest one is my age.
Yeah. And
Hi,
he looks the oldest of all. He looks.
He's been through it.
He looks like he's been through it. But.
And Matthew Lawrence, welcome to the podcast.
And they all took the name Lawrence, and that's not their last name.
Oh, I didn't even know
that's Joey's middle name.
Oh,
they were talking about that on there.
That's
Joey's middle name. It became his stage name because he's a little kid, and they're like, oh, he's adorable, we love him, but that name's not going to work. It's too ethnic. It's Mignona, Mignona or something like that. It's I think it's Italian, but they're like, too ethnic, can't do that. Lawrence, that's going to be it. And so that became it. And then the other boys took that for their stage name as well. So it was pretty crazy stuff.
Interesting.
Yeah.
The 90s, man.
It was actually
Matthew is dating. Did I tell you this? Chili from TLC.
You did say that, yeah. They were talking about Joey standing them up for different things. First Matt was talking about it. Andy was talking about it. Then Matt was talking about it, and it's like, yeah, it was. He's supposed to be coming over to hang out with me, and he was with whatever super famous girl that he was dating and stuff, and Matt's like, yeah, we're supposed to be playing video games. And I go over, I'm like, where are you? I go over to his house, and Kim Kardashian walks out, and I was mad at him for like 0.5 seconds because I'm just standing there talking to Kim. Right? I'm like, you guys crack me up, and it was very interesting. Then my mom sent me a picture of Nell Carter with Joey Lawrence back when he was the adorable little child.
Yeah.
Back when he was singing with Nell Carter and on the show with her, of course.
Yeah.
What was that called?
I can't think of it either, but I know what you're talking about.
It's in my head, and it's not coming up. Somebody will probably comment here and remind us.
My first real exposure to Joey Lawrence was in Blossom.
He was singing with Nell Carter, dancing with Tony Danza. He was all over everything, and that was all before Blossom.
Right.
And then Blossom hits, and he's huge, and whoa, and it's just interesting when you hear guys who are honest enough to talk about, I was super famous.
Right.
And yet it doesn't even come off as arrogant because
right.
It's like, it just is what it is.
Right.
And those are the problems that come with it. And trying to stay out of my brother's way on his set.
Yeah.
And Will Friedle was on there from from Boy Meets World, and he's like, yeah, I was.
They have a podcast too.
I was pretty convinced that that Joey hated me and didn't like me. And he's like, so they're talking about it. It's like basically, I was just trying to stay in the background and not talk to anybody because it was Matt's show, and I didn't want to get in the way of that. So
they have a podcast too.
About the show.
Will and Ryder Strong and I forget the girl who played Topanga.
Mm-hmm.
They have a podcast called Pod Meets World.
Oh,
and
nice.
They talk about the show.
I think I saw something about that at one point.
90s, man.
Very interesting dynamic. That was a good show, man. For a long time.
Women's World, yeah. Everything on TGIF. I so look forward to TGIF.
Was that part of TGIF?
Oh yeah. It was Full House, Family Matters, and Step by Step. Step by Step. I just learned that Suzanne Summers died.
Yeah.
She really did die. Unlike Lionel Richie.
And everybody else on Facebook every other day.
Oh, yes. This is just going to be horrible.
And apparently all of my devices heard us talking about Lionel Richie because I'm getting a whole bunch of Lionel Richie stuff now.
Isn't that wild?
Yeah.
Hi, everyone.
But the Chinese government doesn't know anything about it.
I'm so upset. I'm so upset. Maybe here, you know what?
I got rid of TikTok, bro. And that's not a thing.
Hey, government.
And yet I still somehow see a lot of TikTok videos. How is that?
Here's the thing. We got a lot of problems in this country, and you're worried about TikTok.
Yeah, we don't want the Chinese to know we have a lot of problems.
But they don't get it through Facebook or YouTube or any of the other 1,000.
Well, apparently the issue has to do more with the metadata stuff and all.
Nobody cares.
So they can. Apparently they do.
Nobody outside the government.
They actually accessing biometrics. They were talking about things like that. I'm like,
we just want to watch people.
I don't know why the Chinese government would care about my blood pressure or my height, weight, all that kind of stuff. But I don't know anything anymore in this AI world now where there was, what was the story that it,
watch the power go out here.
I can't remember what the actual thing was, but it was talking about one of the dangers with children on the internet is now Happy Thunder Day.
Welcome to the Thunderdome.
Was with children on the internet is accessing the nefarious people out there,
right?
Accessing their data, their faces, video, whatever, and then running that through AI to create things like porn videos with the children.
Oh, well, that's
so I'm like, whoa,
awful.
Normally I don't, I'm like, I think when you put a picture of your kid on the internet, it is what it is, and people somebody's going to be mad at me for saying it. And I've always felt like that was kind of overreaction. Well, we're not, whatever might have been overreaction before, I don't know if it is anymore. It's hard to keep up with all of the changes of everything all the time. And the moment, and Facebook did this, right? The moment it was cool, then your parents start doing it, and then it's not cool anymore.
Right.
so now old folks like me are doing these things. So Insta,
that's not cool anymore.
Cool, but now your parents are doing it, so it's not cool anymore. The moment Joe Biden has a campaign ad on one of the things, it's not cool anymore. It's just, or Donald Trump or whoever else. Twitter was that was the thing for a minute, and now it's not even Twitter, right? But who's doing it? Politicos and old people, and and some young folks, but only in certain circles for the most part. It's all Snapchat for now, but there's an awful lot of moms and dads getting on there. So now there'll be some other new thing that comes out, and so.
But don't take away my TikTok.
It's funny. Gabe was talking about how his buddies are on there, and he spends most of his time not talking with his buddies, but with their dads. There's one in particular. Case Darren's listening. Darren, shout out. You're not listening, but anyway. But Gabe says, "Yeah, I don't talk to Jonesy, but I talk to Darren all the time on Snapchat."
Well, I didn't know you could talk to people on Snapchat.
However, whatever it is, I'm old.
I don't know. I genuinely don't know.
I'm a Gen Xer. What do I know about anything?
I'm a millennial.
So it's all talking to me. Text, it's all talk.
I was trying to explain.
You're all talk.
I think I told you this the other day. I was trying to explain T9 to my nephew the other day, and how we used to text that way.
Oh yeah.
He just did not.
I'm still amazed by it.
He did not get the concept. We got so good at it
we didn't
even need to look. We just intuitively
I actually worked at it to try to get good at it, like my young kids who were like, how young? I didn't get my kids phones till at least middle school.
Well, sure, but still
at the thing.
I mean, you could just be talking to someone and send it to T9
I think it was
text
high school. I think Gabe was the only one that got one in middle school. Because at that point
explains a lot.
he was doing a lot. Well, it was still a flip phone, right?
Right.
But was still, he was, doing the sports stuff, and we're chasing the other kids and all the other stuff. So just to make sure that we always knew where he was. I think he was like 12.
Yeah.
Everybody else was in high school.
Right.
And every kid was just a little bit younger than the one before,
Right.
I think. And then Emma, like 3, she, not quite, I'm exaggerating.
4.
But it was just such a different world.
Just vividly remember my little
Which another
Motorola
great
Razor
show from the 80s. But you guys were so quick to be able to know how many times to find the key, hit it, 3 times, 4 times, whatever it is, and go to the next key faster than I could actually look at it and put it in. I'm like, I'm so slow, Anyhow.
Wild.
So something to talk about.
Time to be alive.
Technology to talk about.
Now, like half those phones are like in the Smithsonian, I think.
I know, right? So with all these museum things, they're probably worth money now.
I had the pink Motorola Razor. I thought I was so cool.
Those were so durable. How many?
Nothing was as durable as the Nokia.
How many? All of them. I mean, like the worst one was more durable than most anything today. So now you get your titanium iPhone or whatever.
Right.
It's still going to break faster than what that Nokia was.
Right.
That was a workhorse.
And that was like it could be a
run
murder
it over
weapon.
with a car.
Right.
And, nobody.
They don't make things like they used to.
So then they come up with what was a couple years ago, the cool technology of the folding phone. So you got a touchscreen, but it's a flip phone.
Right.
We already had that. This isn't new.
Flip phones happen.
This is like, like all the movies. I just saw their Ryan Gosling and Emily Blunt, I think, is in a remake of the Fall Guy, but a movie version of it, because nobody can make new things anymore, it seems like.
No, for sure.
But it doesn't mean it's not good. It's just, it's the same stuff.
What are we talking about?
Magnum PI.
Oh.
Because that was a smart remake. And my sister said it's actually a good show. But you're talking about a show that was entirely based on Tom Selleck, being Tom Selleck.
Right.
It existed as a vehicle for Tom Selleck to be the sexiest man alive, right? And his
mustache.
Tom gonna Tom. And so
his mustache gonna mustache.
And the mustache, right? So it's entirely based on that. So you remake it with other people in a new setting, and
I've never even seen an episode of Magnum PI, but I know, Tom
of course you haven't,
Selleck and his mustache.
You weren't even born.
His mustache was a paid actor.
It was classic. And then the one time when he shaved the mustache, I think he did work before he was, before he was Tom Selleck, without the mustache, but nobody cared. So he gets a mustache, becomes super famous and all that. And then at one point he shaved it, and I can't remember what the movie was that he was in, but he shaved it and was like, what did you do? What happened? Stop! Don't do that again.
I remember him. Remember he was on Friends? He dated Monica.
Yep. Yeah.
Richard.
Yeah. Yeah. That was.
He was a lot older than Monica. Anywho.
And thus the storyline. So that was just those are the things that. Those are the things that go through our minds here on the home of professional podcasting.
It's a rainy day where, we're not in our usual little setup.
Yeah, we don't have our audio set up.
I can tell everything's lagging. It's probably going to be horrible.
It's an interesting dynamic. So,
hi, Jeremy.
So we're just praying that we will be staying online here as we're going through it and keeping our pod. What are we talking about? Oh, praying and staying.
Thank you for the segue.
Yeah, so it was supposed to be prayer and perseverance, but it was
too big to fit on the image.
Too big for what we were doing. But anyway,
it's coffee
on my hand because I have a drinking problem apparently.
Sue. That lady from McDonald's.
No, my hand tastes like coffee, and of course I don't have a napkin
because. Want me to get you a napkin?
No, we're in the middle of a podcast. How professional would that be?
This far.
we are so,
napkins.
We're slick. Golly. We're a slick operation here. But we are, however professional we may or may not be, we are still continuing in our 2 Thessalonians series. We're wrapping it up. We're getting to the end here.
Easter's coming.
Yeah, that's right. In 2 Thessalonians, we got into chapter 3. 3 chapters into like a 10-week series or something like that.
I feel like stretched things thinner than that.
I feel like I haven't stretched anything. If anything, we're hyper condensing because I feel like we could do about 3 weeks on each week's sermon that we're doing, and was at the Ministerial Association meeting yesterday, and we're going around the room talking about, well, how long do you normally preach? And you know, my Lutheran friend, you know, how long are your homilies? Like usually like 15 minutes, because they're in a full liturgy, so it's all, you know, the whole service is built together. And the homilies one part of it. But you know, like 15 minutes. I'm like, yeah, you know, probably, you know, 40 minutes and all that, and I'm like, bruh.
Come at me.
It was like 35 this week, you know, something like that.
It had to be.
I don't know what it actually was.
I came out
but
here.
It was short.
I came out here last week.
Normally an hour. That's
right.
Hour standard. Sometimes a touch over. Sometimes
I came
seldom
out,
a touch.
I came out here after our speaker this week to use the restroom, and Jeff was out here, and I said, "Do you think he's going to show